Machines no longer stand behind glass or inside factories. They walk among us, stumble, rise again, and take on the roles we once called our own. In one part of the world, they are thrown into combat, tested in the fire of competition. In another, they sit quietly in homes, learning to comfort and care. And in secret chambers, they endure what no soldier should. Each step forward feels small, almost ordinary, yet together they redraw the map of human life. This is not the future arriving. This is the present revealing itself. China's humanoid combat robots. In China, the first hours of a new day carried something strange into the world. At 1 minute past midnight, an audience tuned in to watch a contest no one had seen before. Not humans, not animals, but machines, built in our image, are moving as if they belonged in the ring. The event was called the World Robot Competition Mecha Fighting Series. It felt like a mix of sports and science fiction, bright lights, roaring music, and metal bodies squaring off against one another. Instead of gloves and wraps, they wore sensors, actuators, and steel joints. Each robot was guided by a person standing behind a console. The machines did not think for themselves, but they could balance, dodge, and strike with precision. The algorithms inside them handled the small corrections that kept them standing upright, even after a heavy blow. The humans chose the tactics. The machines carried them out. Unitree Robotics, a Chinese startup already known for agile machines, stood at the center. Their humanoid model, called G1, was the star of the show. It was not much taller than a child, light enough to fall and rise quickly, yet strong enough to trade blows without breaking. When a G1 hit the floor, it did not stay down for long. It scrambled back to its feet, steady and sharp, ready to move again. For spectators, it looked almost playful. For engineers, it was a test that revealed what these machines could truly endure. Fighting is chaos. Balance shifts every second. Impacts land without warning. That is why researchers leaned forward in their seats. What survives a punch might also survive a fall on a factory floor. What keeps a robot upright in the ring might one day help it steady itself while carrying medicine through a hospital. For now, the audience cheered the spectacle, but behind the cheers was a quieter thought. The ring was more than entertainment. It was a rehearsal, a glimpse of how far machines have come and how close they are to standing in our place. Deep Agent AI and creative automation. While one stage was filled with the sound of metal fists colliding, another kind of performance was taking shape in silence. This one did not need a ring, a referee, or even an audience in the room. It lived inside a screen. A new program called Deep Agent showed the world what happens when creativity itself begins to shift. The idea is almost unsettling in its simplicity. You type a single sentence, nothing more, and from those words, it generates an entire short video. The timing of the cuts, the background music, the captions, and even a character to speak the lines all come together automatically. What once demanded hours of editing can now be done in a moment. The software pulls footage, adds voice, places transitions on the beat of the music, and wraps it all into a final product ready for TikTok, Reels, or YouTube Shorts. It does not pause, second-guess, or tire. It simply produces. People are already experimenting in ways that feel both playful and profound. Teachers craft instant explainers for students. Travelers turn diary notes into moving reels. Writers feed old blog posts into the system and watch them return as polished promotional clips. Some even compete in weekly contests, where prize money rewards the best machine-assisted creation. Yet behind the novelty, there is something heavier. For many, editing was more than cutting clips together. It was rhythm, instinct, and style, the small human touches that made a piece feel alive. Now, a program can mimic those touches, and sometimes it does so well enough that viewers cannot tell the difference. Robots in arenas test the strength of human movement. Deep Agent tests the shape of human imagination. Both point to the same quiet truth. More and more, machines are not just helping us create, they are learning to create instead of us. UB Robotics and Home Care Bots. Not every machine is built to fight or to entertain. Some are being designed for something quieter, but in many ways more profound: life inside the home. In China, UB Robotics is moving toward that space with a humanoid meant not for spectacle but for care. The company has spent years creating industrial robots for factories, machines that cost around $100,000 each. They fetch parts, move heavy loads, and run without rest in places like Foxconn and BYD plants. But now the company wants to take a smaller, more personal step, a consumer model priced at about $20,000. At first, the price seems daunting, but consider what they are targeting. Families with elderly parents, struggling to find caregivers in a country where the population is aging rapidly. A robot that can provide reminders for medicine, help steady a body rising from a chair, or carry a glass of water across the room begins to sound less like luxury and more like survival. Michael Tam, one of UB's executives, described it as a bridge between today's narrow machines and the dream of a versatile helper. It cannot cook a complex meal or clean an entire house, but it can manage simple, repeated tasks with reliability. That may be enough. The comparison with Tesla's Optimus is hard to ignore. Elon Musk has spoken of a similar timeline, promising humanoids in homes by the middle of the decade. UB may not have the same spotlight, but it carries one advantage. It is already building, shipping, and planning scale. The company hopes to sell 1,000 units in its first wave, then multiply production tenfold within a few years. The risk is high. UB has lost money and its stock has struggled. Yet the government's backing of robotics as a national priority provides momentum. Grants and subsidies flow toward those who show real progress. What matters most, however, is not financial charts or production schedules. It is acceptance. When a family decides that $20,000 is worth the comfort of having a machine help their aging parent, the cultural shift will already be complete. From that moment, robots in the living room will no longer be science fiction. They will be part of daily life. U.S. Army's Porton Man. Across the ocean, in the Utah desert, a different machine is being prepared. It has no face to smile with, no hands to comfort, and no stage lights to shine on it. This robot is built for danger so severe that no human should step inside. The Army calls it Porton Man. On the outside, it looks like a mannequin shaped in the form of a soldier. But inside, more than 100 sensors sit beneath the surface. Every joint, every seam, every movement is tracked with precision. Its task is simple and brutal: to wear protective suits while toxic chemicals swirl in sealed chambers. For decades, militaries tested gear piece by piece. A mask in one trial, gloves in another, boots in their own corner. But on the battlefield, poison does not separate. It seeks out the weakest link in the entire chain. Porton Man allows researchers to see the whole picture. The way a sleeve shifts when a body runs, the gap that forms as an arm reaches forward, the slow leak that might escape notice until it is too late. The value is not in strength or speed, but in endurance. This mannequin repeats the same walk, the same kneel, the same climb again and again. Every failure can be measured, every improvement proven. In this way, Porton Man does something deeply human. It takes risks in place of others, not to win applause, but to protect lives. Where no soldier should go, a machine now stands, carrying silence and sensors in the service of survival. What it all means. When you place these stories side by side, a pattern begins to show. In one place, machines learn to fight. In another, they learn to edit and perform. Elsewhere, they move into homes to care for the aging. And in quiet chambers, they endure poisons that no human should face. The settings could not be more different: stadiums, studios, living rooms, and laboratories. Yet each points to the same truth. Robots are not only tools anymore. They are stepping into roles once defined by flesh, instinct, and breath. What begins as spectacle often becomes routine. A fighting robot becomes a warehouse worker. A video-making program becomes the classroom assistant. A caregiver bot becomes part of the family's daily rhythm. A mannequin filled with sensors becomes the silent guard of soldiers. None of these machines is perfect. They stumble, glitch, or fail. But their presence shows how the boundaries of what is ours and what is theirs are already shifting. The deeper question is not how advanced they will become, but how willing we are to let them in. Each small step changes what it means to live, to work, to create, and to survive. The journey of these machines is no longer about distant futures. It is about the present, unfolding quietly around us. In rings, in homes, in deserts, they are already here, sharing pieces of our lives. Some arrive as entertainment, others as protection, others as silent companions. Each step feels small until we step back and see the whole picture. So the question lingers: are we watching a new sport, a new service, or the rehearsal of something larger? That answer will not come from the machines. It will come from us.